Go, go, go. Good morning to you folks joining us at Sales TV Live today. What a beautiful day. Raining in Portugal, gray skies, but our hearts are so warm because we are welcoming today Eliana Medeiros. I am so excited to have you here. I am your host, as you know, Helga Saraiva Stewart, founder of Lead Results. Missing Andy and Alex and the team so much. I'm going to be with you guys in 2 weeks' time. So brace yourself, London. I'll be there. In the meantime, we have an amazing conversation with Eliana today. The show is called Build a Pipeline of Sellers, Not Just Opportunities. So, Eliana, kick us in. Let us know. Give us a little bit of your background. Share with us some of your amazing experience.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. My background is actually in luxury. I've worked most of my life in luxury. I started as a teen working for an Italian family with an Italian company, artisanal luxury brand. So that's really my experience. I love working with all other types of industries and companies, but I have to say luxury is just something I absolutely love. I fully understand. I'm someone that loves beauty because I think a misunderstanding of luxury is people just think about the price. At its best, it has nothing to do with the price, but with our human pursuit of beauty and excellence and enhancement. So that's a little bit of my background. And I worked with everything. I worked in private jets for many years with the leader, where I was responsible for customer experience. I was also responsible for customer service, human resources, which is a little, people think, oh, that's off. Not really, if you think about it, because customer experience in luxury has a lot to do with employee experience. Your employees or your team members are the first ones that to buy the product, which links to our talk today and what we're going to be talking about.
I mean, do you see what I mean? So exactly. So this kicks, join us really nicely to this topic of building a pipeline of sellers, because I'm a true believer that one of the three ways of us standing out in the markets today as sellers is with the way that we sell. So help us to understand, what is this pipeline of sellers?
Really, the concept of a pipeline of sellers is just having a structured, really active network of not only team members but partners, because what we think about, especially in luxury, is everyone is an ambassador and a representation of the brand. Because in luxury, everything that is sold in luxury, people can buy it cheaper. Really, if you think about it, a handbag, literally, if you go for function, a plastic bag will do the trick, right? So you have to put something there. And for that, you need to have everybody engaged on it. So you work with your teams, every team member, and that is very common in luxury companies. There's a lot of training. Think about Tiffany. I'm sorry, I'm going to use a lot of examples because I think it's just so much easier to understand. In Tiffany, people spend hours training how to do the bow on the boxes. The same at Cartier. You literally spend hours. Why? Because you're selling magic. You're selling an illusion of beauty and perfection. So we do a lot of training in-house. Then you have the partners. The partners, everybody that you work with, ideally are an extension. They can also sell. If people see the passion that they have with you and your product, even though they're only suppliers or other type of partners that you have, it's also a plus. You gain a lot of customers and prospects from it. They will give you insight because they love you and they get it, what you're trying to do. So there's also a lot of investment in training. I'm going to give you an example. At NetJets, for example, we used to travel to 1,000 plus airports, imagine.
Wow.
And some of these airports we would fly once, a year or once every decade. So what we did was, for that, one of the things that I built was a welcome kit for them, where we would send, at the time, at the beginning was still the DVD, but we would send a package with the DVD with who are we and what did we mean, and with little things that we had on board and kind of the experience. Because if you don't come from that environment, you don't understand. What you see is, oh, rich people, and this is why they do it. But no, at the core, again, I go back. It's not about having money. It's about really looking for beautifying your life, having a better experience within your life.
I,
So
I I
that's
just
kind of
love
it.
I just love the way that you talk because it resonates with me so much. You know, that our buyers, they have so much choice out there. And it's really not that difficult nowadays for competitors to eventually, copy our features,
Mm-hmm.
products and services, or even improve and offer more competitive prices. And so
Absolutely.
the experience of buying from us and how we even facilitate the buying process, how we understand our customers world. Because when I think about these retail luxury experience, I feel like the brand knows me. That's why I pick them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to sell to everyone. They
Mm-hmm.
know me very well, and they know how I want to feel and what I aspire and wish for. Why do you think that's important to build sellers at that level?
It's crucial. Again, if normally the issue that you have and that I seem to find with people is they look for being so, you're so like the others. And you're usually so focused on, because you're so like the others, you end up having to compete on price.
That's
So you
right.
hardly have any differentiation. And look, if you don't have any differentiation, why should I pay more? So that's where it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to pay more. I'm going to go for the cheapest because I get the same result and I'm not losing money. Um,
Mm.
so the difference comes from the excellence you can provide. How do you differentiate yourself? Because once you are in I call it the in the middle. Once you're in the middle, there's nothing for you. But if you're able to go to the extremes, and the extremes can be, you can either decide we're going to be the cheapest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Think Lidl, think Aldi. I mean, that's the aim,
Yeah.
right? You're going to get great quality at this price.
Yeah.
Nobody can beat us on this. Or, and that is so hard because they have money to sell in volume. They're already big enough that they make their money anyway. But for most businesses, that's not the case. We live in an economy, a global economy that it's based on small and mid-sized businesses, right?
Interesting.
So you have to think, how am I going to differentiate? And when you're going to differentiate, you need to get the people that understand that differentiation. Let me give you another example.
Please.
So I work with this client, and they had opened a regional store with the brand, and they were struggling a little bit with sales and getting people inside the door. And a simple thing that I said was, just, I mean, you have an amazing store in a residential commercial area. It doesn't get better than that because you have people that live here, but you also have businesses. So other people will come every time that you probably by this point already know who lives here because they come and walk their dogs and you see them parking and going into the building, and they were like, yes, we do. So my question is, why haven't you gone on outside every time you see those customers, wave at them, introduce yourself, and give them a sample, or invite them to
Hmm.
come in?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but you need to have this kind of people that
Yeah.
understand the power of this, because a lot in luxury is about relationship, exactly what you said. I remember you. You're not just a number, right? And I think I told you this when our first conversation, where I had so many clients, but when they would call me, they wouldn't even introduce themselves. They'd be like, oh, Eliana, like I knew them. And really, it was because every time I interacted with them, I made a point of reminding of the last interaction, asking something about the kids if they had kids. if the last trip was great or not, if they managed to close the deal, if they were foodies, did they eat something that they loved, while they were there, and if they could teach me something. People love to share, independence of how much money they have. They would be like, "Oh, I tried this and I tried that and I had this." So, I mean, and I don't drink alcoholic drinks, but I would talk about wines. I say, "Oh, but is it
Mhm.
good? And why is it good? And why is it different than the other one?" And they would explain, and they say, "Well, but we know you only drink Coca-Cola." So you build that relationship by caring. And here's the thing about human and behavioral science: if you care about me, I will care about you because you value me. And I'm going to spend the money anyway. So might as well that I go to a place where I know I'm special. And this is universal. Look, I worked with the richest people in the world, as you know, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, etc. And what was common to them is the same that is common to people that I meet where when I go to the little store here in my house in Portugal across the street, everybody just wants to be seen for
Yeah.
who they are. It's not if they have a lot of money or no money, it's just you as an individual. Do you value me? Am I worth it? So
Yeah.
that's the kind of people that you need to have.
One of the things that I find the hardest to work with when I'm working with corporates and business
Mm-hmm.
owners is I invariably find that they have a lot of information about their
Yeah.
customers, kind of the market
Mm-hmm.
data per se,
Yes.
but they have even more information about themselves and their business and the quantitative side of their business and how they're performing with their customers. So this information tends to be very quantitative.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that there's so much qualitative information missing about our customers and our potential customers. And I very much find that that's what actually helps build relationship capital. So
Mm-hmm.
if I can, yes, I know on average how much you might spend on XYZ a year, but what problems are you trying to overcome? What trends are impacting you and your team, or your clients, right? Your clients. This type of, what results are you trying to achieve? So this type of information is very much lacking
Mm-hmm.
in, I find, just from my personal experience,
Right.
in organizations today. Likewise, I find that the organizations that are most successful across the globe, they have a lot of this information. They thrive. They
Mm-hmm.
build their business upon their knowledge, that the qualitative and the quantitative knowledge of their customers and clients. So, if we were to hire talent, and create a pipeline of sellers who can engage at this level and obviously aligned with the leadership and the culture of their
Mm-hmm.
organization, how do we go about building this army of amazing sellers that are linked to excellence? How can we do that? How can organizations
So,
out there and the leaders listening here do that?
yeah, I would say it all starts with companies need to have a clear idea of who they are, what their brand represents, because that's the first point of then hiring the right people.
Mm,
Because let's be honest, once you have a big organization, once it's small, it's quite easy to get everybody on board and align. Once it gets bigger, because you're hiring all the time and filling in gaps, what tends to happen is there's a loss of sight. Great
mm,
companies don't do that. They
mm.
usually are very focused on the recruitment. I was with Hannah, which is the human resources person for Apple. And you meet Anna, I mean, she didn't even need to tell me that she worked for a big company. She's a star
Wow.
naturally. So you see that the recruitment is really well thought of because she's brilliant. She's just a perfect Apple ambassador, and she never pushes the brand. but just how she behaves, how she communicates, you know it's someone special. But you need to have that idea, vision very clear of who you are. Because then what happens is you just hire. And when you just hire, you're going to get a lot of people. And I'm sorry, I'm usually quite frank at this.
Good.
Most people, I'm sorry, they just want to get on with it and do it. If
Yeah.
you want excellence, you want people that are really committed, that want to do it, not because of the company, but because of themselves.
Mm,
They
mm,
want to bring their full talent. They want to see how much am I going to take from this experience, right? For me.
mm.
And obviously it will go to the company. I always say this. I don't have an issue when people say, "Oh, I really focus, I'm driven," but they don't talk about the company. If they're really focused and driven and they're committed and they're aligned in values with the company, they're going to deliver for the company, because it becomes a relationship where the two things are just a match. So I
How
would
do
go
you
there.
think how do you think things get lost,
Oh,
especially
so
with big
easy.
organizations?
That is so easy. It starts in leadership itself. And I can say this again because I have been in boards and I'm part of the C-suite. Um, and I mean, at the highest level, if you have a leader that's just focused on the numbers and short term,
Yeah.
again, great luxury companies tend
Mm,
to last a long time. I will give
mm,
you an example. There's this Italian company, Santa Maria de Novella, this brand.
wow.
It's a brand. It exists for 800 years. Can you imagine a
Wow.
brand that exists for 800 years,
Wow. I love the name as well.
right? And it was created by monks. I mean, Catherine de Medici has a perfume. She asked them to do the perfume for her wedding. They
Wow.
still sell it today.
Wow.
Think about it. 1,000 what? 500, 300, something like that. Not even sure. But it's still sold today.
Beautiful.
Acqua della Regina. So you work on something that you're going to build long term. And for that, it starts on vision and leadership. And this is why people sometimes speak of great leadership as nice to have. No, great leadership is the beginning of something great for the business in
Mm,
terms of profitability, revenue, credibility. Then you go for recruitment.
mm.
Once you recruit, training is everything, because as soon as people come in, you have to, there's a saying where people say you have to, when a calf is born, you
Mm.
breathe into them so that they get attached to you. Well, that's the onboarding. A great onboarding will do that. People just think, oh my God, I've arrived.
Okay, people, listen, we have got some new best practices here for your newcomers, onboarding, breathing to them. I love that. But, I'm never going to forget this now, Eliana. This
But
is on
it's
you
so
now.
important.
I
And
love that.
I go to big companies and some of them don't even have onboarding or
Yeah,
have a unofficial onboarding.
yeah,
How can you
for
do
sure.
that? You're allowing anyone to say who your brand is.
Yeah.
You're probably allowing somebody that doesn't even get it, that's inside your structure, telling the new one, oh, this is how it is. You don't want that. So again, I like to always pick the Ritz, because the Ritz-Carlton, great hotel brands come and go, but the Ritz is always the one that when people select, they're always on the top, right? They're always on the top all these years. And you now have Rosewood, Six Senses, all of those amazing brands, hotel brands. But when the clients are ranking, the Ritz hotels always end up being at the top.
Amazing.
So at the Ritz, one of the things that the CEO, when he was CEO, Mr. Hertz used to do was, Mr. Schultz used to do was really go to the locations and as much as possible, and he would always meet the new people. Again, if a CEO, if I am starting to work in a place and a CEO comes to talk to me,
Yeah,
I know it's something.
yeah, for sure.
And this is underestimated. I remember and I always do that when I'm working with teams and we're hiring. Once we select the people, the first thing I ensure is that I have an individual conversation with the person. where I reinforce the characteristics that made them part of the team, that made
Wow.
us hire them. And I will always say, you are already excellent. That's why you're here. Now, the only thing you need to do is to keep that and to learn more and to be the best version you want to be of that excellence. We will give you the tools,
Yeah, we'll
but
support
then
you.
it's your opportunity. I mean, people just blossom with this because you're already giving them the framework, you're setting them at a high state, and then they just have to go. But again, you need to recruit the right people. The wrong people don't even get it, right? I had people telling me, yeah, but I'm not going to do more work. Well, I'm not talking about you doing more work per se. I'm just saying work with excellence. Bring the excellence you already have.
My pet hate word is mediocrity. It always has been. And so, when I am surrounded by people like yourself, you just feel different. You feel so empowered and confident and assertive, direct to the point when you're starting sales conversations, right? And people feel engaged by your knowledge of them and by your
Mm-hmm.
focus in them. This
Yes,
type of client centric, value based approach to selling is really what's building these lasting relationships, but also, eating away from the competition, right? You drop the
completely.
ball and the barbarians at the gate will get you, right? They will
Completely.
get you.
They
Um,
will. They will.
so, Eliana, we're kind of driving to the final few minutes, and I
Mm-hmm.
really want to pick your brain
Yeah.
on how luxury designs customer experiences to engage with their top clients and prospects and grow business and sales. Can you help us
Oh,
with kind of giving some examples? Maybe we could copy some of them.
yeah. I mean, so let me start with this. There's a lot of companies that are not luxury that follow the luxury brand values. And if you don't
Ooh.
know, go and Google up because it's worth it and you will get all those insights. If not, I'd also be delighted to share because I have a book that I've written for my classes, but it's not for
Oh,
sale. I actually
oh,
have it
show
here,
us. Show us.
which is this one,
Oh,
the
upside
luxury
down,
playbook.
upside down, upside
Oh,
down.
sorry, like this?
Yeah. Oh, wait. No.
No, it was
Wrong.
correct. Like this?
Oh, oh my, I'm seeing it, the luxury playbook. I'm seeing it like back to front.
Yeah, probably because of the camera.
Yeah, I wonder if, okay.
And really, what I have there is exactly what I explore is that, and I'm going to share with you. So you share with everyone one of my classes that I
Yeah. Oh
do.
my
It's
gosh.
it's in shorthand. It has kind of class on a podcast version in audio, so you can listen, but very short. So think about it. Apple is not luxury, but uses all the codes of luxury to sell more. What do they do in the stores? If you go in London, I love the Regent Street store. It is a perfect example. There's so many people in that store, so
Yeah.
many geniuses working in that store, and that store is always jam packed. So really, the focus there is there's always someone available. That's the message, really. If there or
Mm,
not is a different thing, but it always is about showing you there's always someone here for you. And people say, oh, that's a huge investment. Oh, by the price, then they can increase their margin. Because
yeah.
again, value, if you have read Influence, which I recommend to
It's
everyone from
what you
Dr.
get, not
Cialdini,
what you pay.
you know exactly. Value is perception. Give
Yes.
me something and I will make the value for it. But I need information and cues. So Apple does it greatly. Universities like Harvard and Yale, oh my God, they copy so many things from the luxury playbook. Scarcity, for example, the way that they have enough vacancies, but they reduce it so it becomes more desirable
Exclusive.
and exclusive because we
Mm,
all crave for the symbolism of being part of something special.
right.
It's
That's
part
right.
of the human condition. So that's one another thing. And then what do we do in terms of selling? Normally in luxury, what we want to tap into is desirability. Because
Mm,
desirability, oh, so much better than loyalty and satisfaction.
mm,
Because when I desire something, the price is just the mean to get to what I want.
mm.
So it's, oh
How do I build on desire?
my, again, I go back to the
We need to read your book. I think that's it. I need to read that book. I need that book. You need to tell
I
me
will
how to
send
get
it to
that book.
you, and I will send a few copies if you want to share with some of your readers.
Yes.
Definitely would be
So tell
delighted.
us, listen, can people reach out to you on LinkedIn?
Absolutely, absolutely. I will be delighted. Again, I'm a huge fan of sharing the knowledge and as much impact as possible. So people should feel free.
Yeah.
And I would be delighted to engage because I always like to learn with other people, and there's always different perceptions. It just makes you better. Uh,
And they
yeah,
can speak with you in English, in Portuguese, what other languages?
and Spanish.
And Spanish.
Yeah.
Listen, valuepreneurs, sales shakers out there joining us. I've got to say bye. I mean, our 26 minutes are up. I could have carried on. You know that, Eliana. You know that, right? We're
Thank
going to have
you.
another event soon here in Portugal, and you are absolutely invited. So watch out for more news on that on my LinkedIn page. But please connect with Eliana on LinkedIn. She is a pot of luxury in herself, of pure sheer diamond. And we loved having you here. Please come back and talk with us again, will you?
I
Please.
will. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Helga, for making me feel so comfortable and for all the preparation and all the work that went into this. And also for today, for this opportunity. I'm so grateful. I really
We
am.
love you. We
Thank you.
love you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us out there. We love you the most. And come watch us again next time. Until then, cheerio.